they don't always do. They have a point of contact, and then that person relays the message to the vendors.
Gotcha.
I did reach out to the Rehoboth Chamber of Commerce yesterday, and asked them if they could provide me with the contact of the market manager for Rehoboth. It's Pat Calusi is her name. I have her cell phone. I actually called her on my way to the doctor appointment yesterday. She called me when I was in it and played in phone tag. She left a message. She's going to give me a call back this weekend just to kind of tell us their steps and how she's the founder of it as well. And just kind of how they got from ground up. And then I'll see if she can attend. If you'd like, I could see if she could attend to the next downtown, even if it's by Zoom, to speak to the committee if you'd like.
Sure. How long has that been in place, the Rehoboth?
Gosh,
It's quite a while, right? I mean, they would know their way around by now. Okay.
Is she a volunteer or does a paid position?
Paid.
Paid.
Yeah.
But they're not paid by the town, it's paid by the downtown.
They're 501c3, so they've gotten a lot of grant money. When Kate Van Forst at the Chambers, who I spoke with yesterday, and because they are 501c3, she said that she knows that they do receive a lot of grant funding. So maybe we can find out from her which organization they get that from as well.
So they have a separate 501c3 just for the farmers market?
Yes, yeah.
I'm sorry, the audience would like you to speak into the mic.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, very good. Thank you. Thank you, Kim. Appreciate it. Now, I believe Linda from the Garden Club. Okay, sure. Absolutely. The more the merrier. Hey.
Thank you for the invitation. Do I need to bring this down?
It should pick you up. We have,
Is it picking?
you're
up?
fine,
Okay,
you're fine.
great.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Kim.
At the recent town council meeting, you all were talking about the farmers market and the revitalization of downtown, and my ears perked up. I thought this might be an opportunity for the garden club. So we would really like to have more information. I think there is some interest.
Yes.
Especially for the farmers market, and ways that we might be able to work with the town and try to improve the appearance with flowers or gardens. Right now we have, just to give you a little information about the garden club, we have 35 members. We have 19 businesses in town that sponsor us. We maintain 47 pots, and the gardens down at Cupola Park. And that's 3 gardens, including the center, around the stage, and the flags. Also the town sign. And there's a garden, well, I'm going to call it a garden, a flower bed in front of the old print shop party store. We do have a little bit of a problem with that garden. The cats think that it's a litter box. So we've tried planting things that will deter them. Our latest effort is to take the leaves from a holly bush, because they're thorny, and put those around it. So we're trying. I don't have a report on how that's working. We also had a little bit of a problem at Cupola Park at the stage. The person who's maintaining that has done an outstanding job this year. She's really worked very hard to make it pretty. Kids are riding their bikes at the corners, so we put some bigger shrubbery there and hope that that will deter them, along with one of those orange traffic cones. So we'll see how it works out. Also, the dogs think that that's their potty area too. Some of the activities that we do right now, we've been putting in the pansies in the pots, and in a couple of weeks we'll be putting out Christmas poinsettias and wreaths along. And then at certain holidays, we also put the flags in all the pots around town. And we would really like to participate with the farmers market. We plan to be at the holiday market that you're going to have in a few weeks. And that's been a great avenue for us for recruiting new members. We've gotten several each time we do that. So, and we really appreciate all the help from the town. When we submit our reimbursements for the flowers, we really appreciate your support. Thank you. Any questions?
No, we appreciate what you do, and it looks beautiful every time I look at the flowers coming into town, going westbound, and as we're riding through. So it's really a nice job that you do. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Is the organization established as a nonprofit, as a 501c3, or is that?
It was originally. but,
Okay.
We did not keep up with the
The
paper.
status.
Okay.
So it is.
It is not- okay.
current.
Okay,
What would it take to redo it? Because I was thinking that.
just going
same
through,
question.
just going through the state and reestablishing through the paperwork and.
Do you think that you
Um,
might be, after sitting in the audience when we discussed about the farmer's market, do you think you would be interested in reestablishing or take it back to your members?
I'll have to take it back to the members to see if they would be
Yeah.
interested in doing that.
And I want to echo the mayor's credit. You do a wonderful job. I mean, it's really,
Yeah.
it's well noted
Thank
and
you.
appreciated.
Will definitely be on our agenda item. Our next meeting is November 15th. So we will put it out to the group and see what kind of interest. So.
Mhm. Like Jamie had mentioned, the town manager, it doesn't have to be one person. It could be a collaborative effort. And if your group decide to take it on, that'd be a coup for us. Tomorrow, as a whole.
Yeah, but I think the membership needs a little bit more information as to what the responsibilities would be. And we'll see. I know there's a lot of work involved with doing that, not to say that we're afraid of doing work. It's just that hopefully we've got enough bodies that will be able to cover all the Saturdays or whenever the market's held.
Yeah, there's a handbook I believe that I had sent to the chamber.
I'd forward
Yeah,
it on
that-
to them.
Oh,
Yes.
there's
So
a
that-
handbook?
That
Well, no,
covers-
the regulations from.
Oh, the regulations,
Yeah,
yes.
there's no handbook that,
Oh.
but I did pass the regulations
Yes, you
that were
did.
for the current year. And as I said, there may be some additions, changes. They do a whole workshop in the spring to get everybody ready, spearheaded by the Department of Agriculture. So if we do have volunteers, we'll get them signed up and we'll
Sounds-
participate as well, just to make sure we're all on the same page.
Great, that sounds
Perhaps
good.
if Ashley was able to procure that person to come speak at our next meeting, maybe you
That would
can
be helpful.
have,
Or-
one of you come and see what that's about.
Oh,
And if you'd like, I
definitely.
can ask her, when I speak to her this weekend, I can ask her if she minds if I give her contact information out ahead of time as well. And then if she's okay with that, I can provide you with her phone number
Okay.
early next week.
Sounds good.
Great.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know you take care of the two huge pots out in front of the firehouse and it always looks great out there. So thank you so very much.
It's two of my
Appreciate
favorite pots, especially when the vines are blooming.
it. Gorgeous out there. Thank you very much.
We will. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Is there a cost associated with registering as a 501c3?
I don't want to
Is there a
misspeak.
association?
I'm not
I
sure.
never thought one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
There was, I used to be the treasurer of the Building Official Association, but it all was set up by an attorney at a time. So
Probably.
Oh, yeah, there's a-
you just have to maintain it. It's always the major issue is to keep your status up.
Yeah.
Because if
Yeah.
not, it can be a bit of a challenge to
Yeah.
to
I used
reestablish
to
it.
run the Miss Southern Delaware pageant, but that was through Miss Delaware and Miss America. And so I didn't have to do anything, but that was probably because I fell under the umbrella of Miss Delaware and Miss America.
Okay.
So that's, I don't know. I'm happy to look into it.
That might be something we could take a look into to see if we
Yeah.
can help them
Mhm.
reestablish that 501c3 and that may help them with some grants and things
Grants,
as well.
yeah.
too. Okay. Very good. Thank you, ladies. I guess number 3 is the discussion of the creation of a tagline for the town of Millsboro. And Mary, I think this was your idea or?
I
Go right
am
ahead.
very happy to see Kim here and the ladies here, because I think after the opening of the bypass, which I personally have had so many positive comments about it, I would love to see us have an identifiable motto, so to speak. And we did discuss this at the last council cycle, and I'm not sure what happened with it, but I thought, why not bring it up here?
Sure.
And after attending a few scat dinners, what I've noticed is many of the towns do have taglines.
Page
Yeah.
39 in your packet.
Thank you.
Yeah, you did send some of those out.
I have to always give thanks to Ashley and credit her with constant preparation. So in 39, you see Lewis has First Town. Melville has Beautiful by the Way. Bridgeville has If You Like There, You Would Be Home. Delmar, the little town too big. Dewey's Delaware's First Playground. Wilmington in the middle of it all. Harrington, Where Delaware Comes Together. Milton's Walkable, Livable, Unforgettable. Selbyville is rooted in history, growing with opportunity. Seaford, The Perfect Place to Start. Dover's Historical Happening, and Rehoboth is the nation's summer capital. This is just my personal favorite, and I have to say, after the bypass, when you look at everything on the map, Millsboro is the confluence of Sussex County. Practically everybody going somewhere goes through us. So I like the heart of Sussex or the meeting place of the county or the heart of the county.
Now, what's Georgetown?
That's
They're,
what I was
they're the,
gonna
yeah, they're,
Okay.
I think they're the county.
Theirs is well-rounded
Yeah,
because of the circle.
That's what theirs is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the heart of the
Well, they're the county seat.
yeah, the county seat.
Yeah.
It had to do with the government. It's a government motto. So,
Yeah, they went with well-rounded a while back. They had hired a consultant or somebody,
Okay.
and then Milford is Rivertown, our town, hometown. Yeah, I mean, everybody's got a different tagline. I just kind of was going with hometown of the heart of Sussex because we needed something for the Sussex profile last year.
Mhm.
So we figured we'd do that. We had one in the past, which was what was it?
Center of the business.
No, was it business?
Yeah.
Friendly.
Family.
Ask anyone.
Yeah.
And that got some not so great feedback, so. Yeah,
really.
it's just anytime you said something to a business that was maybe no, then they're like, well, how are you pro business? Because it's your tagline.
We've heard that, yes, absolutely, absolutely, we've heard that.
When I looked up online, I noticed that that we were in the business
Yeah,
thing. I think with the bypass, at least the center of the county or the meeting of the county or something. I also thought that we could perhaps post on our website for people to submit. This way we could get the entire community involved and have suggestions.
Wasn't it, did we do that? Yeah.
we did.
Yeah.
Last time we had a physical meeting,
Okay.
and I thought rather than have the whole staff arrange a meeting, why not just post it on our website, have people? And then also at the next billing cycle, maybe have a question, please feel free to submit and give it a 6 months and make it a game or
Yeah.
a win or something.
I just want to clarify for the record, since we're recorded, their official slogan in Georgetown is the official site of Sussex County seat, but they also have an official descriptive phrase, which is well-rounded. So they have multiple, so get ready. So the only thing I would say is if you put it in, you maybe ask for suggestions online and then council maybe pick, and then people vote on some set choices, because if you ever watch the show Park and Rec or any of these things, when you put things out for a public vote, it might not be what you're looking for.
No, I didn't mean a vote, a
Entertaining.
suggestion. You could ask for suggestions online and then perhaps at the next billing cycle included in that paper, as one of the requests and say, feel free to suggest your, maybe we can get the chamber to ask that.
I just asked ChatGPT for some suggestions. I'm just reading what it gave me.
I like that
Or some
idea.
people got theirs, I can tell you.
What, from the community or from ChatGPT?
AI is extraordinary, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Vacation, you can call them.
There you go.
Yeah.
There are a lot of good ideas on here.
I think it's a great way to bring more attention to the town. Look at and have people, especially businesses, kind of want to look into it. Just a suggestion.
So I have a problem with the tagline, but I'd like to see it connected more to something. So we haven't even begun yet to reach out to consultants to come and take a look. What do they think our town should look like? And survey our residents as well, what they want to see in the downtown area. And depending upon the feedback from that, they help drive what the tagline could be. You know, is it going to be retail oriented? Is it going to be more restaurant type oriented? Will it be theater involved? And then I think it's even more meaningful that way to have a tagline that's attached to what we're actually going to build.
Mhm.
It keeps people excited during that period. And once you have a plan in place, and we talked about going out with an RFP at some point, probably first quarter of next year, most likely, to get some ideas from consultants. We've had some ad hoc developers come in and throw out some ideas already. And I got to tell you, it's very encouraging and impressive into about tens of millions of dollars in investment that they're looking to make in the downtown area, which would be phenomenal. The rest would come with it.
Mhm.
I would like to see, I've mentioned it before, like a vision statement or a mission statement for the town. A lot of grants that I apply for, you have to have that. And there's been some that I've not been able to move forward with because we don't have a mission or vision statement. So maybe that's something that we could look at that same time as well.
Now, I know this committee has kind of been brought back. We had a committee a while ago. I thought we did come up with some kind of a mission. and
For the
vision statement.
committee.
Oh, for the committee
Committee
itself.
mission
not for the
statement, not
town.
for the town, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So as far as consultants that you were talking about, Bob, what is that something that the town is looking to budget to bring in for something like that? Or is that we had some consultants at one time
Mhm.
kind of look at the overall town and do some work, but we never really,
But it pulled the trigger.
yeah,
Yeah.
never did that. So is that something that we're looking at doing sometime next year, or we're considering, or?
I think that we should consider it. It's something that we can't do on our own. We don't have that expertise in-house
Mhm.
to take that kind of a finite look at everything, including the demographics and what's popular in towns based on the demographics, the number of people.
Mhm.
You know, is it small retail shops? Is it, coffee type shops, restaurants, theater? There's a host of options that we couldn't do that analysis ourselves. So I think that's where we're leaning towards, whether it's a RFP or RFI, to get some proposals. We're talking about 3 different groups
Mhm.
already. Just to say, hey, do you have some time to talk? You want to run some ideas by you, see what you think?
Mhm.
So there is a lot of potential, and it's all because of the bypass that's driving this. So-
That's why I think of the confluence, but I have a quick question for Jamie and Ashley, if you're aware. Have other towns like, I always quote Milford because I have been here long enough to see a dramatic change. Have they hired consulting firms and that's how they've moved forward?
When I was on city council in Milford, we hired Muldrow Associates. And what they did was they came in on a holistic approach. What do we want to see downtown, in the downtown area,
Mhm.
along the river? The pickleball courts that are there
Mhm.
now
Mhm.
came out of that. They were
Mhm.
looking at developing some properties around what they wanted to see downtown. At that point in time, a lot of storefronts were either churches. It was a little bit of a hodgepodge. Out of that, they also came up with a whole branding package where, if you notice, all of their everything, town letterhead, the water towers, even the school district, they all use the same font for everything. So it all kind of ties it all together.
Yeah, uniformity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree with
And
that.
they have, if you want to go on YouTube, you could look, they did I mean, we're talking many years ago, but it's still on there, but they did a vision and they did a whole community involved, couple set of workshops, kind of just to draw up what it could look like. You know, unless the town owns all and the city owns all that property and has the money to build it itself, you have to get private entities to invest in it.
Mhm.
So it's what it could look like. It's setting a goal and then you try and get the involvement, excite people to have it happen. It's not something that happens overnight, but yeah, that was a pretty hefty line item for the budget to hire the firm. I had talked to Ben Muldrow about possibly a couple years ago doing that here. And I know Tim Sweetman knows somebody he's mentioned that does it, that's a friend of his. But again, it's something that's going to require a budgeted line item for that. Or the other approach is, which we've talked to developers that have shown interest in different parcels the town owns downtown, to do an RFP or, you know, RFI, as Bob was saying, to come in with proposals. And then, you know, we look to divest town-owned properties based on what their proposals are. So,
So the consulting firm that you hired a while ago, did they help create a public-private partnership, which is basically how the downtown?
no, they just gave the vision. They came up with like the motto, like we're.
So they came up with the
Rivertown
motto, but
Village.
they didn't help with any implementation?
No, it was just the
regarding.
vision of what could happen in the zoning and with the lands that are available, redevelopment of some brownfield sites, some old. There used to be a fertilizer factory in downtown in Millsboro on the river. So they looked at what you could do with that old property after it was demolished, extending the river walk, which was kind of the basis of everything, and then what you could do around it. A lot of high density housing options. You know, you have first floor retail and then apartments or whatever above that. Now, not all of, if you watch the presentation and then you see where we are today, not all of the things that they said could have happened did happen, but it just shows the potential that you would have. And then they help with the branding and with the presentation and the whole package, that then will help attract investors. Now, they also in Milford are part of the DDD for the Downtown Development Program, which we're looking to apply for once it's open again. And they have opportunity zones, which is federal subsidies, which then they can stack. And then the city did some additional incentives in certain areas to try and get people to develop and redevelop. I mean, one of the things that happened is the old roller skating rink, Davis, Bone and Friedel, renovated and turned into office space, which on one side was a good thing because you needed office space, but then you lost a recreation aspect and there were people in the community that were kind of, so it's good. I mean, those meetings were full of people that wanted to see things happen. They were standing remotely and on YouTube. And there was a lot of energy, which helps kind of spark the investment and the interest,
That's why I think that we can hire a consultant, and I'm not opposed to it. I think it's a great idea. But to actually go from what the consultant suggests to get community involvement and try to reach out, that is our, an ever battle, I will say, to try to get people involved, like the farmer's market.
I mean, getting the designation for the downtown development district is going to will be huge, but we have to, it's about a 4-month process to apply. And then we have to be accepted into the group. And then we compete with other DDDs throughout the state for a lot of funding towards projects. And it's a 20% return or discount, so to speak, on brick and mortar. So after the project's finished, the developer gets 20% back if unqualified. They know ahead of time before they start the project if they've been approved or not. So.
So Mary, I think that's a great idea as far as the tagline goes. I'm not sure if that's with the discussion here, if we want to hold off on that developing a tagline or use the one that we currently have in place, basically the hometown, the heart of Sussex for now until we do get some folks in here and take a look at what we could do. It's a good idea though. I do like that.
I'm trying my best to get community involvement. And
absolutely, yeah.
Because I think that's the success of a town is based on the community involvement.
I'm just not sure Wilmington in the middle of it all. They're like,
I'm not commenting on any of the other taglines.
Excuse me.
so, okay. The next is organizing a town cleanup day. And again, Mary.
My comment, actually, the ladies being here, I was going to say they do such a fantastic job. The garden club does such a fantastic job as to beautifying and sprucing up the town, and puts a smile on everybody's face. It puts a smile on my face because I walk through the town almost every single day. So I was thinking, and I talked to Jamie, perhaps we could do a community cleanup day, reach out to some of the towns, some of the businesses, and maybe post it on our website, ask the chamber for some assistance, ask the ladies for some assistance, if we could just help not just our downtown, but the side streets and everywhere else. You know, last time I think Merck did a cleanup, and I was thinking maybe they'd be interested. Habitat for Humanity. He was talking, and one of his presentations was about the fact that he's willing to come in and
Kevin.
help organize and provide, you know, some assistance with that. And I thought that would be a great idea, especially now that we've gotten so much done with the bypass. And I thought that would be a great way to stir some community involvement and get more business eyes on us. And I was open to any other ideas.
I did some research online and found on page 40, 44 through 43 in your packet, DSWA offers a community cleanup program. And if you apply to do this cleanup program through them, if I believe it was $2,000, if it has to be through a legislator. So if a representative requests it, you get a $2,000 credit with the DSWA. And if a senator requests it and it's approved, you get a $4,000 credit. And then through Keep Delaware Beautiful, they offer this Delaware Community Cleanup Program. And you can obtain a dumpster from them at no cost if you do a cleanup program. There are only so many times a year that you can get it. I think it was 2, but don't quote me on that. I want to double check before that's on the record. So I found those 2 things, and then I apologize for the wonky layout, but 32 and 33 should have been the next pages. There's a Keep Delaware Beautiful also offers cigarette butt bins that can be placed. And there you can there was a certain number of those. I don't know if it was, but there's no cost for those either if you're approved to receive them. So if we did have a cleanup event, I don't know if we could maybe put a dumpster in the parking lot, have it there for like a week, and then it may encourage people to get rid of, I don't want to call it junk, stuff that they don't use that may be in their front yard or just like littering the area as well, to clean up not only the streets, but also properties in town. If they don't have the funding in their own means to be able to go to the dump, and they have an option to dispose of it free, if we're able to get a dumpster at no cost, that may encourage a lot of cleanup.
Yeah.
What you think, Ron?
I
Thinking,
think the
man,
same thing Ron's
there's going to be
thinking.
a lot of stuff that come
Yeah.
out there, I think. But no, it's a viable idea to try to promote some of that around town. I like the cigarette litter prevention program because that's probably one of my pet peeves. But yeah, if that's something that we can apply for, it doesn't look like it's too hard to apply for. But
So Collins and Petty John will be getting an email with all of us asking for support. So first, again, thank you, Ashley, for your incredible work in researching.
Happy to help. Like making things pretty.
I agree with Ashley. I mean, we have a tremendous amount of people who don't have the finances to dispose of some of their items sitting on their porches or yard waste that we could maybe ask if we can assist them, if we got some volunteers to remove the items for them.
If you're doing a day, I would say getting like local churches involved, because that's something that they're passionate about, right? You know, Gracewood, probably the Journey as well, although they have an older population. But even maybe like youth organizations.
Yes.
Right, I was thinking Scouts,
Mhm.
Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts could be a merit badge type event for them,
Mhm.
opportunity.
I was thinking schools are always looking to give credit hours
Yeah.
for community service,
Yeah.
and this would be a great opportunity if, and I was gonna ask if you and Ashley could reach out to the schools, if they gave a couple of hours, we could give, community.
I mean, I
Community
know the
credit.
opposite side, at Millsboro Middle, I mean, those kids have to have.
Yeah.
I think
So
most
much
schools
easier
can.
when they were still in town.
Well,
That-
I mean, I can, my niece is
Yeah.
there, so I can potentially inquire about that.
Okay, so how do you want to proceed with that? Just kind of do some legwork and see what other companies or anybody that want to be involved with this, or could we go ahead and at least for the like the prevention program, the cigarette litter, is that something that we can apply for?
I think the cigarette bins, that's great. I
yeah.
think we just need to game out what the putting a dumpster out for public to put things in would look like.
Right, yeah.
Because we don't do garbage. We don't do, a lot of these towns that do cleanups, like I know where I live, you can put your stuff out, you can set up 2 bulk pickups, but the municipality does the garbage.
Right.
There are probably people in town that utilize the dumps instead of a private contractor. So if we fill the dumpster, we don't want it overflowing.
Right,
then we're gonna have
exactly,
to haul.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but that's fine. I mean, just like shredding events, they have restrictions on what you can
Mhm.
bring, what you can't. So just make sure that we kind of try and game it out and make it bulletproof before we roll it out there as much as possible.
So do we have
Maybe
to
put it
wait?
somewhere
for
that has a camera system. Hey, how's the cameras in your parking lot?
You want to dump trash in it?
So because that way, then if somebody dumps something that's not appropriate, we have a way to
Right,
keep track
yeah,
of it.
I
yeah.
was gonna
We
say
did
the
it.
police would be a great
Mhm.
idea.
We did it in,
That's an
So I do know that Seaford does that trash pickup. They don't have their own trash service. They utilize roll-off bins and
Uh-huh.
have trash trucks and they go around with their loaders, but they do it one time a year and it's in May and
Uh-huh.
everybody just starts off. And it's a great way to keep your yards and whatnot cleaned up.
I think it's a great concept.
when I was in Dewey, I implemented it there. We did it twice a year, once in the spring before summer and once in the fall after summer.
Mm.
And the dumpster was in front in the town hall, like it wasn't a big parking lot, so it was in parking spaces in front of the parking lot.
Cool.
And then it was a first come, first served basis. And once that dumpster was full, it left. So if you
Right
wanted
on.
to get your stuff out of there, get it in early. Get it,
I think
and then,
that's
and then
great.
it went to the dump after that and it was done.
No
There's
issues.
several strategically throughout town in different locations.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So are you gonna, do we have to wait for you to reach out to Rich and Petty John? Collins and Petty?
They have to be the ones to actually sort of do the
Request.
request, yeah.
Thank you again.
You think that's a resolution that has to go from council or just through them, through just normal channel?
I think it's more staff than.
So then there wouldn't really be any action to go to council on that, just.
Yeah, okay.
In longer term, Jamie, I think you had mentioned maybe starting as a streets group or division within.
Yeah,
Public
that's
Works
what we're working. I mean, that's the long-term
to
strategic
keep
goal.
things, so you have the community effort up front
Yeah,
to get the first, bulk removal. And then ongoing maintenance by this potential sidewalk and streets division of Public Works.
yeah, right now we have
To
Public
sustain.
Works Director of Water and Sewer, and then everything else kind of bleeds in between them. So we talked about during the budget hearings too, creating a third director or maybe an assistant director that's streets and grounds.
Mhm.
Just so that way the water experts stay with the water, sewer experts stay with the sewer. And then we have generalists to do the others. So, parks and maybe streets and parks probably would be good for where we are right now. So. I think that's where we're headed.
Hey, I'm retired. Give me the keys to the street sweeper. and I'll-
All right. I know where you can drive there.
Yeah. Okay, very good. And then we have another meeting at 2:30, so we'll move on. Number 5 would be the town funds to support integration of appearance improvement through the use of flowers, et cetera. seek corporate sponsors or adopt a program. That kind of falls back into, I guess, maybe the 501(c)(3) we're talking
Yeah.
about for the garden club, but
Page 44 and 45 of your packet. These are just some businesses that I found that are corporate that have sponsored some of the cities and towns. Page 44 is outside of Delaware. And page 45 are municipalities in Delaware, mainly in the northern part of the state. But I'm sorry, the bottom of 44 is northern Delaware as well, the Bank of America and M&T Bank. So I don't know if maybe we could have some of our more local banks assist with sponsorship of that.
I think that's a great idea because when I walk down the main street in Lewis, a lot of the flower beds that are larger and even the pots, you see little signs where it's sponsored and who it's sponsored
Mhm.
by. And it's a great advertising, for the business itself. So.
I was gonna say, what does the garden club think of this? That's kind of what you
Yeah,
do already.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to duplicate efforts.
Right.
Can you think of anywhere where we have opportunities for more flowers downtown?
Yeah, we're looking for the Brazilian steakhouse like everybody else.
Oh.
I also noticed a few, I think they're new businesses, Candlelit.
Uh-huh.
So we've got a letter going out. Letters will go out in November to the area businesses. We really concentrate more in the downtown area. We don't go out on 113 or beyond the bridge.
Mhm.
The bridge is one of our areas that we would really like to see improved.
Mhm.
At one point, there were planters
Mhm.
that we used
Yep.
to maintain, but it got to be a safety issue for some of our members. Plus, you have to schlep the water
Right,
from their
yeah,
car, wherever
Yeah.
up there. So we had to give that up.
okay.
But we would really like to see some sort of improvement at the bridge, because that's the first thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I did reach out to Del Dot last week and asked them if they could have it power washed. And they said that they don't have the staff to power wash it, but they gave us the green light that if we want to contract out, that they'll permit us to have it power washed. So we're just waiting on quotes to see if it's in this year's budget
Oh, okay.
to see if we can get that done. Since
So would Del Dot pay for that or we?
No, it would be on our dime.
Okay.
And we don't have a line
I'll
item
bring my power
currently.
washer
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
But we can look at it for future.
Yeah, no, we have some sponsors like Lingo Marine.
Right.
Yeah, we've got some sponsors that are outside. Okay, can we leave that note?
So I was gonna say, maybe, instead of, I know the ladies do a wonderful job for the garden club doing that, but if we did get some sponsors, maybe they could assist the ladies in procuring the item. And this way they get a.
Would be for you to discuss with the garden club,
Yeah.
because we assist the garden club. We help with reimbursements, mulch and some other things. Storage of some supplies, those sort of things. So, yeah, I mean, they're kind of taking the charge on that right now.
Yeah, because our sponsors will provide funds to paint, they might sponsor a small pot or a big pot or a group of pots.
Mhm.
So we use that money to buy new pots and other things that the town doesn't reimburse.
I did put on page, there are multiple different throughout here that look at, but page 9, the town of Dewey actually has it on their website that they can also receive donations just from anybody.
Bless you.
I don't know if that's something that we could look at having just a donation area that individuals in town would be able to just, if they didn't want to sponsor, if they just wanted to donate, just somewhere that they could go to do even like a online payment if we could, once we get the new Cassell system and have more integrated like credit card processing and stuff like that. Something to think about.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
And you all accept donations from individuals too. It doesn't have to just be a business or.
No, we've never.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll work together and see if
Yeah.
if we do move that forward, if we can have it instead of coming, just to find a way to direct it to your group. We don't want to create competition for you.
Right.
Web page.
Uh-huh.
We have, a Facebook group, group page.
Okay.
That's kind of clunky.
But if we
Page-
can incorporate that into the town,
Mhm.
the
That
town,
would be a nice,
have a section there or a link that points to the
Sure.
garden club and
yeah, that's an excellent idea, I
Mhm.
think. If somebody new moves to the area and they go on the Taunton website and they're interested in gardening, we can just put a link to them and so they can have the contact.
Mhm.
That's a
Page-
win-win.
Page 21 shows Lewis. It's individual annual is $30, family annual $50, individual lifetime 500, and family lifetime 750. Just, well,
What's the feasibility of getting water for irrigation out to that bridge?
Well, it's outside town limits.
Right,
And we had talked about it in the past and DelDOT didn't want to see us put water lines on their
Yeah.
bridge. We had taken over the pots. We planted the pots and then, we had hired RSC to come out and it just got to be very costly. For area, to spend money on an area that's not in town limits when we do
Yeah.
have needs inside the town limits.
Mhm.
like a drip system that goes into the pots. It's a small diameter line
leave it our house.
and yeah,
The problem is where is there water nearby?
that's why I'm not sure.
Yeah, and we
People are
struggle
going
even.
to be the
and-
closest.
Yeah.
That's,
Gravity feed method.
You would know more about that. You guys pull, I think
Well,
you use a pump to pull it.
Yeah,
out
yeah, we
of
do
there.
that. Yeah.
is that fresh water or is that brackish?
The pond is fresh.
Fresh.
The other side, the side, along Kupla
river?
Park is brackish. That's
Okay.
tidal. Yeah.
Is there anything that's artificial that looks real? That's durable?
I think people put artificial flowers in pots like window
Mhm.
boxes.
Something that
Yeah.
looks real, but
Mhm.
yeah.
I have heard comments about people coming across the bridge and the weeds out there and that sort of thing. And it's like you say, it's a little dangerous to get out there because traffic doesn't pay attention to you. So.
And
I
the
don't-
weed, and the
Yeah.
weeds, we've had complaints, mainly from Hunter's Point about using any kind of Roundup agents near the water there. So they signed a petition. So we have stopped using Roundup, around the water. Until some staff members can take, classes and possibly find an alternative, herbicide for around the water. I just had to follow up on that again yesterday. So
Right, power washing of the bridge and then murals painted on the walls,
I mean, that's not.
which
Mhm.
could be flowers
Yeah.
all and
perfect.
there's low maintenance.
We had
Mhm.
mentioned some murals before. There wasn't an appetite a year ago,
Yeah.
but no, I think we could.
I got a quote from Liz Sexton. I reached out to her about it.
That would brighten it up.
She's-
Yeah, and
She's
that
great.
would really make it a
would
good
pop.
statement. You
Pop,
don't have to
yeah.
worry about the flowers, and then you can continue the murals into the town and sort of slowly incorporate that. I think it's a great idea, Bob.
I think that would be a good place to start with.
Yeah, excellent
Absolutely.
place. Well, we could power wash, paint the murals. Okay.
Cause you come across the bridge and it's kind of like,
It's blah.
Mhm.
and then you get to the
Yeah.
Senator Corddry thing, which looks excellent.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. We could start with that.
This is off topic but related. So the ultimate goal is to get to a place where it is truly this public-private partnership, right? So that the town is not having to spearhead everything, right? So is there such a thing that we could basically like fake it till we make it? In that we would start advertising things from downtown Millsboro, or whatever we're gonna call the organization, to start creating the awareness. So like the community cleanup wouldn't be the town or the chamber or the garden.
Yeah, that's where the
It-
downtown Millsboro partnership comes
Yes.
in with Anastasia Jackson and the whole downtown. Yeah,
So I feel like it would make sense as we're trying to garner interest
Mhm.
for people to think like, oh, it's a thing, I should get involved in, rather than, you know what I mean?
so what we need
That-
are board members for the downtown organization,
Mhm.
and then we can start having meetings, and then we can get from a mothball status to a full, affiliate status to get that off the ground. Again, out of,
Right, but what I'm saying is like. Is there a way to like? Before all of that can be finished,
Kind of kickstart it.
Kickstart it, yeah, get interest,
Do a-
get
yeah.
interest, yeah, that's why that is the reason why I mentioned the tagline. I thought if you put something, a singular statement or something,
If
just,
we create a
yeah.
font in Canva, you know what I mean, like,
Oh,
just.
listen, ChatGPT can make some great logos. Seriously.
Be able to label it so
Yep.
that that's a thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
all.
and I think you could use like downtown Milford Incorporated as a you know, a template. You just have to realize that's 15 years in the making. So,
Mhm.
you know, we had this group. I wasn't around when downtown Millsboro partnership was around and lively.
Right.
So I don't know if they had any logos or taglines or anything. The only thing we have our constraints as far as the municipality is we are still in the middle of our budget cycle. If we don't have any money allocated for any of these items, they have to wait until the next year's budget cycle, or we get donations to help sponsor that, and then we spearhead it. So we haven't raised taxes in the last 3 years, and a lot of some of these items we could do it, but at what, you know, where do we want to, I mean, that's a good justification of raising taxes a little bit to try and promote the downtown and the beautification efforts and power washing Del Dot's bridge and those sort of things. But that's, I mean, that's just we're managing a budget, so.
Right.
And
What
it's
about that?
taxpayer funds, you know.
What about that for the logo right there?
Perfect.
I mean, you've already got it
Or
and
take the
people
wagon,
are so.
take the mill wheel. And
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, that's
I think-
what all these groups do, is take that and run with it. A consultant will help you make it pretty and kind of hit the, you know,
Right, there
but
could be like just a very simple version of it,
Uh-huh.
start until like walk before we run.
Yeah.
Scenario.
absolutely. I mean, in 30 seconds, I wanted to create a new as a logo for the City Manager Association, and it took no time. I mean, you got to proofread it because it's probably spelled Delaware wrong or whatever, but you know, there is low, you know, cost, low hanging fruit.
Right, and putting out information about a cleanup day or about, you know, we need volunteers to try to get a farmer's market up and running, but instead of saying like contact the town or contact the chamber or contact the garden club, like we could make it seem like we're already a thing.
Yeah. We run very
When we're
lean.
not really yet.
We run very lean, so we don't have a lot of staff that are, you know, able to
Right.
pivot to pick up new. But you know, that's where the volunteers come in and help to coordinate that. Sure.
I'll volunteer while my off time. I'm doing that to make it pretty.
Well, and there again, you go back to like you were saying, the cleanup day.
Mhm.
We could start that ourselves without a bunch
Yeah.
of corporate sponsors
Right,
and just
right,
say, hey, this is what we're doing on Saturday. If you want to come out and help,
Mhm.
you know, we'll get you a trash bag and off
And
we go.
we've
I
had
mean,
several groups volunteer for cleanup days. And it's been really successful in
Mhm.
churches, schools, all of it. So yeah, I mean, and that's what we do. We provide the bags. We provide a place where they leave the bags when they fill them, and Public Works hauls the trash out. So, yeah, I mean,
I feel like spring.
Yeah. Perfect.
yeah.
You know who else
that's
I think
great.
is like who's not utilized as a sponsor in Delaware? And I think there's so much opportunity because they are so unique. So our only airport in Delaware is Avello. And when you look at Avello, say you're coming from Florida, you're going to Wilmington. If you Google Wilmington, you'll see stuff that look at Millsboro. Like we're close to the beach. If we partnered with them and even they have the bus that runs, the American Airlines bus runs from Wilmington Airport to Philadelphia, maybe we could partner with DART and have a bus that comes down here and just really market our town with the only airline that's in our state. No other towns are doing it. So I think reaching out to them as a potential sponsor and partnership would be something we could look at too, maybe.
Okay.
It's because we are a great location in the state.
That's a very innovative idea. I think yeah, I love that idea. Love it.
Should we move on or do we need, I know we got time constraints here, but. So is that something that, who do we need to reach out to for that? For just what you were just talking about?
Avello,
Yeah,
I'm happy to research.
Okay.
If you like,
okay. Thank you.
I'll bring it to the next meeting.
All right, thanks. Let's see, number 6, proposed lower speed limit through the town, less than 25 miles an hour, pros or cons?
Matt, is there anybody online?
We do have people on.
Okay. This was something that was brought up by a business owner downtown. I'm not sure if she's online or not. She was supposed, okay.
I did a little bit of research
Yeah,
on this one.
go for it. We were talking about this yesterday in our pre-meeting. for
Yeah,
the-
I think the next three, I did some research, and I know we are on a time constraint, so I'll try to keep it quick. So that is a state maintained road, and obviously DelDOT has control over that road. And any changes to that would have to go through DelDOT, which obviously comes up with a traffic study first, and then determination as to whether or not anything can change. I will say that and Ashley did a good job researching other towns.
Page 46.
Yeah, page 46. There is no precedence for below 25 miles an hour on state maintained roads. I think there is some precedence for municipal roads lower than 25. If you look at statute title 21 4169, you can't, they don't have anything that we could write a ticket for on the state code below 25 miles an hour. If we were to do it and say on a municipal street, it would have to be part of the town code. And then we look at whether or not the JP courts, which are state run, are going to enforce those. So then we look into possibly getting back into it all of them. So it's not a no. What I will say is that I don't see any precedents where state maintained roads are below 25 miles an hour. What I would suggest is adding calming devices along that roadway. Whether it be we can get one of those pole, we can invest in one of those pole strap speed monitor devices that tell you your speed, kind of making people more aware. We can talk to DelDOT about maybe creating some curb bump outs that narrow the road in certain areas.
Right.
They did that on
Forcing
Front Street in
people to,
Milford, by the
yeah.
PD.
slow
Yeah.
down in those areas. We can try to run traffic enforcement on there. From my experience, you're not really getting up over 25 miles an hour. I think the concern here, and I may be wrong, is especially during the day, is that 25 is probably too fast with the pedestrian traffic and people getting in and out of their cars. So if we ran a traffic enforcement down there, I don't see us getting too many people over that 25 mile an hour threshold. I think the idea is to try to force them to go below the speed limit with either calming devices or bump outs, or even I've seen some towns get permission to put, concrete planters into the roadway in certain parking spaces.
Mhm.
This was discussed by a business in town, is that right?
That's correct.
Was it just on one way going through town or both ways? 'Cause
Well, it was
basically, if you're
one way.
going, yeah, westbound, you really don't have a lot
It
of
was Main
businesses on that
Street.
side.
Yeah.
Washington Street. Yeah.
And Ashley's actually working with us right now in order to get another speed trailer. I don't know if it within the next budget cycle, if I can't get it on a grant, I'll look at maybe a more less bulky speed monitoring device, and that maybe we could strap onto a pole out there and would clock people and at least let them know that what their speed is.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Maybe we can add both of them in and see if we can land
Well, I
back
didn't
on
wanna
one.
add too much to
Yeah.
your list, but I can quickly get a quote for that
Okay,
if
yeah.
you're able to.
Let's
get it
ask for
done.
both and then the worst they can say is no.
We may be able to get
Yeah.
it relatively within this grant cycle. So, and it will at no cost to the town, but we're working on that right now.
Okay. Very good.
And if that's where you guys want me to put it up at when we get it, we'll put it up on one of the poles there and ask for forgiveness later.
Okay, good. The next one, there again, investigate the possibility of truck weight axle restrictions on Business Route 24.
Yeah, we've had conversations with DelDOT and they said that they are the first stop, of course, if we wanted to investigate that option. And
Page
beyond
40
that, I guess it goes to the state and then
Page 47 has
47.
some information. Sorry, Bob.
So seeing the success thus far with the bypass, there are some trucks that are, probably intentionally taking advantage of the less amount of traffic going through the center of town. And these are a lot of the flatbeds and the haulers. So you have that and quite a few dump trucks. So I think it's gonna lead us in that direction. We're gonna talk with the poultry companies again, because Mount Dare and Allen and Rim have done a good job where they've advised their trucking companies utilize a bypass as a first path. And it's the other truckers, some of the independents, and then some of the subcontracted ones that are still occasionally coming through the town. So we'll get the word out that way, but it's the remaining trucks that will make a difference. And then it ties into the speed limit as well, because at 25 miles an hour, a dump truck that's empty, they're banging and noisy, and you know, that's something that if we don't have to have them go through the town, then that would be a good thing.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Mr. Mayor. The concern is obviously the trucks going down there, and no restriction as it is right now, other than, you know, we're talking with both with business partners in order to restrict that traffic. But there's nothing enforceable as of now.
Right.
I think there is precedence of where towns have been successful in limiting that truck traffic. And I guess my suggestion would be to refer this matter over to the DelDOT committee, and formalize a request. They're gonna have to do a traffic study.
Yep.
They have monitors that they can put up to determine size of vehicles that are traveling down to see what the issue is, and any information we can get from previously mentioned programs in regards to degradation of the roadway as a result of these. Maybe there's a study that shows that 24 is deteriorating rapidly faster than that 1 year per year rate. And we can justify traffic control on that. Any data we can collect and give to Delta, I think would be sufficient or helpful.
I just would like to start the process. It's probably gonna be a long process in terms of time. And if we get it at least moving forward now, if it takes 4 or 6 months or whatever it is to get to the final place we need to be, then why not start now instead of wait?
Well, as you guys draft that request to DelDOT, let me know what information the police department can provide as far as data.
And then the caveat with that, though, if there's an accident on a bypass, trucks have no other option.
Yeah.
If you have some nasty head-on collision, God forbid, or something like that, and that's shut down now for hours, what are you gonna do with the trucks? So that's understandable, and that's reasonable.
And I'm sure if they pass a resolution, there'd have to be some sort of caveat in that in regards to, you know, unreasonable due time due to, I think Mount Airy's concern is the chickens span of light between.
You mean,
Yes.
Get to know.
I know, Mayor, you had mentioned last time we met about the dump truck traffic. Of course, there's still a lot of construction going on out there, kind of the Jersey Road. There's still a lot of work there.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm wondering how much of that is just going to
From that,
particular construction. site.
you're probably right.
Yeah.
You're probably right.
Okay, review the possible street parking time limit.
This was another item that came up when I met with the downtown business owner about, it was after the bypass had opened, just trying to find ways to get people to spend more time downtown, and then also, you know, have that turnover of parking so that way, you know, somebody's not holding the spot all day, and we can get more flow through the businesses. You know, some of our partners and you know, other towns on the eastern side of the county, they've got parking meters, which really helps with that. I don't think we're there yet,
Right.
but the suggestion was to, you know, mark tires, give a 2-hour limit, you know, like the old, they chalk the tires situation. So that was just to get everybody's opinion on what you think about that. And we don't have a parking department. I mean, Georgetown does, but they have parking meters, which helps offset that. So, you know, that could be you know, if we want to put limitations, that's great, but you have to also have enforcement. So,
Yeah, that's the bad part.
which I don't.
Yeah.
I researched that one as well a little bit. I think it's a great idea, especially during a certain business hour. So overnight parking, because I know there are some apartments.
There's
involved
apartments,
in the
yep.
building. And whatnot. I don't think overnight parking is an issue there. It would be to, you know, promote business and allow the influx of people in and out of the town. So I think it's a good idea. Again, DelDOT would have to approve it because it's their parking spaces. But I don't see that being an unreasonable request that I don't think that they would have an issue with. My only, to kind of jump off what Jamie said, would be the capital involved in enforcement. Do we want to use the police department's police officers to
Yeah.
enforce parking, which we can? Or do we want to invest in an additional, maybe part-time position to come in and do the speed enforcement? Or not speed enforcement, I'm sorry, parking enforcement. So there is a little bit of investment by the town that would be needed if we did something like that.
And one of the things, the downtown parking is important because we have had several developers come in and talk about some sort of situation where it's first floor commercial, just like we have right now, first floor commercial and then residential on the subsequent
Mhm.
floors. Our urban business designation does not require to have parking, anything zoned to urban business because there's assumed there's parking downtown. So, we want to be mindful of anybody that is residing. Not everybody does work a 9 to 5. So, we just want to make sure to identify where there's alternate parking. I mean, we do have parking that some people don't even know is there, like over by the fire hall. But I think trying to investigate other areas for parking. We were talking about this yesterday with a potential investor on the downtown. So it's, just making sure that everything kind of is cohesive in place, together. But no, I think it's smart. I mean, one of the suggestions was to do, say, a 15-minute pickup, spot right there between, say, Nectar and then the Chinese restaurant would be a bad idea. You don't want to lose any parking spots, like even the traffic calming measures. It would be great to put a pot in one of the spots, but then you're gonna be like, hey, we're losing another
Yeah.
spot. Which when Nectar first opened, I mean, every spot was full downtown,
Yeah.
so I think we're gonna see that again when the next restaurant opens up further up the main street. They have a huge parking lot, but I think you'll just see more activity downtown, so. Yeah, I don't know what anybody's thought.
I don't know what the legality is in regards to businesses putting up their own sign.
Yeah.
In front of that spot. It's not enforceable, but we all know that sometimes signs will.
As a courtesy.
Fix the problem regardless, whether it's enforceable.
That was gonna be my question. I don't know what the legality is of posting 2-hour parking without getting the approval from DelDOT. And I agree with you. I think there's a lot more parking available or parking lots that are available. Perhaps we can have small signs to point to that. So next time when investors come in, they will see, the same thing that people who are coming in looking for restaurants would see.
Yeah, and I
That's a
provided,
good-
it's been a bit, and I don't even know if you're aware, Kim, I provided the chamber with an aerial view. We had the police fly their drone. And we highlighted where the municipal parking is downtown. We've given that to Ann. I don't know if Nadine has that, but it's actually one of the photos in the Sussex profile. They used that pictures for some reason. So the parking actually is highlighted on our downtown photo. But I can revamp that and we can look at it just to get the word out there. So.
Question, since you got on the topic. So first, is people parking for a long time downtown really a problem? Like, are there
That's what I was gonna.
Well, there's one, I don't want to get into specific one person's car.
that I wouldn't have thought.
Some of the tenants that live above the businesses downtown, they don't work on a typical 8 to 4 schedule. So
Okay,
then
so they're
when
parked.
they're back and
Got
they're
it.
parked during the day, then that's a spot downtown that no one else can utilize. But who's parking, who owns the parking spots? I mean, they're dealt with.
And I probably have more clarity on this than I do, but the parking lot behind our building. That's technically municipal parking, is it not?
That is correct. That is correct.
Well, That.
And then we're looking in our budget. We don't have anything in the budget. We did some work there and some grading, but that's one of the items that we're gonna put on our wish list for this coming cycle, but that doesn't start till July.
I had mentioned before too,
It's
but
just tricky now, since we had all that kerfuffle with the.
Sewer line.
That's like a very big understatement. I realize kerfuffle is an understatement, but, like, a lot of the patrons from races park in there, and where it's still not like marked out as well, they're like blocking entrances and stuff, so it's a little bit.
I had
at
mentioned
times.
before, like if we can somehow make the parking lot look nicer with like impervious pavement, even if it's like pavers of some sort just to make it market. And then kind of how like M&T Bank and Rehoboth and Lowe's do, from a certain time to a certain time, it's
Mhm.
only
Mhm.
chamber parking, but after, 5 PM, from 5 PM to 6 AM, it's public parking. And if we could put some signage up there so that way when people are utilizing the steakhouse, it's more parking for downtown, but it's not going to
And in those areas, you would be free to be able to do whatever the council.
impose that.
The steakhouse will just be dinner, assuming?
I don't know. I don't know.
So before we go to Dell, does it make sense to go through the chamber and find out how many businesses are in favor of having time limits on parking?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is that really an issue? If there were some limits,
We don't have a ton of engagement with downtown businesses.
I was gonna say, if you
Yeah.
ask, you're asking your membership, which isn't limited to downtown.
But I mean, like. Of the businesses downtown, I think 2 are even members.
Yeah.
And they're super active.
And that's why I was trying to explain the difference between a downtown organization and the chamber. That's why the vast majority of the downtown organizations are not an arm of the chamber. They're independent 501c3, or however else.
I mean, we're greater Millsboro, so we're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got members up into Wilmington,
So if we just, from what I'm hearing, from gathering all this information, if we just had some signs, we would enhance more businesses coming in because they're looking at the signage and the available parking, correct? Is that what I got from you?
Well, they ask if they're gonna develop a parcel, where they're gonna park, because if
Mhm.
it's urban business, they don't have to actually have parking on site per the zoning. So then we just identify where the.
So maybe if we created some signs and pointed in the direction of the municipal lots that we currently have available, that would really
There's
enhance
signage
the
at
next.
the one down at the corner of between Washington, Main and State Street. There is also signage on the one back by the fire hall. Because it delineates what is the fire department's. But I think directionals wouldn't be a bad idea. We've got poles around town.
I think if you, lifelong resident, I think the assumption is that that's the firehouse.
Yeah.
So,
It's kind of wonky how you get to it, if you're coming down
Right,
Main Street.
right.
But we could do some directionals, like the big old P with a arrow on it.
That, and I think that
Yeah.
that would
We
be
have
perfect,
that
and
down
that's what I
at
was
the one
looking
down
at.
across from Casey's, but yeah, we could do a better
Mhm.
And
job.
if the businesses wanted time limits, our parking lots, we can do whatever we want in those parking lots.
Mhm,
And it's
absolutely.
just the ones along, Main Street.
Main Street,
that we
Washington.
would- That we would need to approve.
And we do have a parking lot over by the ball field now, be it's a couple blocks off of the main street, but it's also marked and it has our town sign saying public parking. Off of Railroad,
And to be honest, you can.
where Railroad makes the
Millsboro
curve
Place parking.
out, that
Yeah.
back out to like right there, there's a ton of spots there.
How many spots are in front of our station?
Yeah.
A handful.
Where's the lot behind or by PNC? Is that their lot or is that town lot? I think the Oyster Fritter or the Fritter Shack used to sit out there, right?
It's PNC.
That's all PNC.
Yeah.
Oh, it's theirs.
We do technically have an alley going through it, but it's their lot.
We could ask them to do what M&T does,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah,
And just do the after 5 PM or after
absolutely. Yeah.
certain hours.
Because that's right across from the steakhouse. where
Yeah.
The steakhouse is going to be. So you have that additional park.
We were just talking about the PNC lot between meetings, so yeah, that's a good idea.
Has there been a request from town or from businesses in town already or complaints about parking like that? Or is it just, this is just something that's,
I just think they're trying to get more bodies into the
Gotcha.
restaurants downtown.
yeah, and just observations from potential developers.
okay. All right. Okay, so we can look into possible signage and, okay. C, number 9, development of town residents survey regarding what they would like to see downtown, which is some of the things we spoke of a little bit earlier, maybe with the RPC, but opening that up to members of the community. Possibly on the website or there again, in the water bills.
For the water bills, I think that's needed because that's gonna help give whatever consultant we hire a little leg up. That this is what residents are looking for and how would their proposals blend with that.
think you'll get a lot from the website, and maybe if the chamber could assist and
We can send it out. We have
also,
we
yeah.
have a consumer email list in addition to the business
Mhm.
membership. Which at the holiday market is where we solicited a lot of folks for that, so we're planning to do that again this year, and then we're doing. Like an open house at the chamber for the parade, and so, people are gonna be encouraged to sign up for that as well, so for sure.
If you want to send me
Also
that
the
information.
Churches maybe, reach out to the churches and ask them if they could put it on their website or include it in their bulletin. That might be a good.
Kim, if you want to send me your open house, if you have a flyer, I'll put it on the website for you.
Okay.
And then the comp
Um,
plan review committee is being formed at the November council. So maybe that's something they can look at coming up with some of the questions as well, because it's kind of a hand in hand with
That's a good idea.
what residents are wanting
That's
downtown.
good.
So we planning on having it be like the Survey Monkey type thing.
That's what I have the current draft one under,
Yeah.
but
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I think that would be important, but then
Yeah.
also we could have like a paper version. for
Yeah.
Folks that aren't ever.
Sure. yeah, yeah.
There's always that percentage. It's fine. I get it.
I guess the problem I see there, one of the questions I have is we're kind of running out of space downtown to bring new businesses into the town. So that's it's kind of a
That's happening
Laundry
with
there,
commercial
yeah.
space all throughout
Mhm.
town. I mean, after Weiss has built the number of pad sites we have, we don't have any large scale,
Mhm.
large pad sites. I used to go to the shopping center conventions, but that's when you're trying to attract a large, entity. But if you don't have anywhere to put them,
Mhm.
they you have to have somebody develop an annex property, annex and then develop property.
The old PD and the lot that we own.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, there's some very limited spots, but you're running out of really nice commercial spots in town.
So what you're
which is
hoping
where
to
you
do
want-
is to get people to redevelop some existing, and that's
Yeah.
what you're seeing in other towns that, you see it in Rehoboth, more on the residential side. Yeah, it starts getting vertical versus.
Let's move on to number 10. The fire siren signal usage, location, options for discussion. Actually, I was.
Don't shoot the messenger.
We
right?
I got a call from a young lady today from, actually got a couple calls from her from Coastal News or wherever. That's where I was before I came here.
Yeah.
So Nicole, we were standing out in front of the firehouse and talking about some of that type stuff then. So, again, as I tried to stress to Nicole, the problem, I guess not a problem, but one of the issues is that we are still a volunteer fire company. We have no paid firefighters. We have paid EMS guys. So whenever there is an alarm, we expect people to come from home or come from work or wherever they are, if they can get off, to come in town. So a lot of that is not necessarily just for our guys, which some of it is, but it is also to notify the town and the community and people running through the town or coming through the town that apparatus is going to be responding. And also members are going to be responding to the firehouse. So as I explained to Nicole, the firehouse is there and that's our main station, and the fire siren is there. It's become, fortunately, some people, you hear that and you get used to it. It's kind of like the train coming through town. People don't pay attention to the train anymore because they're used to it. And a lot of people don't pay attention to the fire siren because they're used to it. I brought this up the other night at the company meeting. Whether it went over very well or not, I will hold that to myself. But there's not a whole lot. There wasn't a whole lot of discussion about moving it. Let's put it that way.
Moving it or not using it, because, and this is how this all came about. Potential developer came in talking about a potential project, $14 million.
Mhm.
And included a residential component
Mhm.
in that. And the first thing that he said was, can you move the firehouse outside of town? Why? And it's because with the siren, that could be a deterrent to potential developers and buyers for property. So that's what started discussion.
Mhm.
And then leading towards you know, and you had mentioned the hours, sometimes limit the hours at night. But if it's still effective, and I understand fall, I'm not saying I'm for or against. It's just that, does it worth further investigation, drilling down a little bit more detail to see, can you accomplish what you need to do with having the siren, but maybe in a different physical location? You know, and, you know, does that signal get out to all firefighters? Probably some of which live outside the town limit proper. And would it be even more effective if it was closer to where the responders are coming from so they could hear the signal? So I'm just looking at options and ideas.
Mhm.
Should we get to a point where a developer says, all right, this is a make or break on a deal? And I just want to be prepared before that we could speak intelligently and saying that we looked at this as this, and we're going to leave it the way it is, or we're going to consider options.
Mhm.
And that's where it's coming from.
Yeah.
So only that, because myself personally, I never thought of it that way. And when he mentioned it, like, wow, I never thought about that.
Mhm.
That to some people, other people, yeah, you live here long enough, you're going to get accustomed to it. And same thing with the train. But with someone new coming in, I want to buy a $300,000 or $400,000 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom apartment, and I can't deal with the noise.
Mhm.
So, and that's where it's coming from, Ron. It's, you know, I understand and respect the fire department. They do a great job, and volunteers to boot. So that's an incredible individual that's putting their life on the line and volunteering to do it every day. But it's just, you know, to try to make the pieces work in the town. What is it going to take?
We have, I know there's some other towns, Lewis, I believe, they only blow siren for fires and motor vehicle accidents. So, smoke investigations, things of that nature, automatic crash notifications, they don't blow it for that. Other towns have looked at limiting that from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. or whatever, not blowing it then. We have cut out the third alarm siren activation. We don't do that anymore. And we have condensed the number of cycles that it blows. Some of the older guys that have been there for a while did tell me a story of there was a motion that was made, this was a number of years ago, to stop the siren from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And the outcry from the community, because they didn't know what was going on, because everybody would hear the fire siren go off and they'd get up and they'd turn their scanners on so they know what was going on. The outcry from not having that siren was so overwhelming that the fire company reversed their motion and said, okay, we're going to blow it all the time now, because that was from the community. They wanted to hear that. They wanted to know what was going on. So, you know, whether we can, you know, obviously open that up for discussion again and take a look at some other things that,
If it's worthwhile, that's all I'm saying. I'm just trying to.
yeah,
To
understand.
prevent or backs against the wall. We have a deal on the table that could be, you know, one of the best things that ever happened to the downtown area.
Mhm.
But if this was a make or break, are we prepared to do that? That's all.
But if they, again, I think I mentioned this to you, if they want to come up with a piece of property and give us a nice sizable check, we'd be more than happy to build a new firehouse.
Never say never.
Never say this.
I do have a comment that came in from Kimberly Kahn, 225 River Drive. I apologize. I should have read this during public comment. Dear downtown committee members and staff, as a downtown resident, I want to express my concern regarding any possible changes to the current fire siren protocols. The firehouse is literally around the corner from my house, and yes, it's loud but completely necessary. The siren serves as a safety warning to be on the lookout for responding vehicles coming to the firehouse. This is critical since we have a volunteer department whose members are likely responding from home or work and are not on site. It lets people know that apparatus is leaving the station and not to block the doors. The siren is a redundancy for department members, that there is a call, especially helpful for those who may be outside. The siren also serves to give comfort to the person who called, hearing that someone is on their way. On a personal note, it's a call to prayer for the person who's having their worst day and for the safety and well-being of those responding. Sincerely, Kimberly Kahn, 225 River Drive, Millsboro. So there we go.
And granted, and fully understand. I
Mhm.
said, I never thought to think this way until this developer mentioned it.
Mhm.
I was like, oh, never dawned on me.
I have a little bit of personal bias, as Ron is fully aware, but, I mean, just the building itself is beautiful for the town. So I feel like that makes up for what the siren could even disrupt. I don't know. I get what the developer's saying, but maybe. Maybe he doesn't need to be in downtown Millsboro.
Well, that's only one developer. So, you know, if that's an issue for others that come in, I don't know.
Right.
It came in and it stopped me in my tracks when he said it. I think about it half a dozen times, like, never
Well,
thought
and
of
I
it that
think
way.
People, well, you could speak to, but people already are not super accommodating to the folks responding. So
No,
if
no.
if you lose the siren, then they're gonna be like, why does this person have their flashers on and they're trying to get around me?
Yeah, I was gonna say something on a different note. First of all, thank you and your entire staff. But I think we should help Ron by putting some signage, do not block Bay.
Oh, right.
Because I don't know how the poor fire staff, you have so many people who are new to the area, but are not familiar with it. So by the time they realize they're already in front and they're locked in and they can't block the bay. So I think we need to help them and create a signage. Because I myself, while I'm walking, I'm thinking, there are 4 cars now blocking what's gonna happen.
It's on the road,
It's on
but
the road,
unfortunately, when you get there, you're already covering it, but we do
Yeah,
have.
I don't think people, I saw it already because I'm that kind of a driver, but what I'm saying is I think the new people who are not accustomed to looking down are just looking at the signs above. Unfortunately, and I see that almost on a daily basis. And the second thing I was going to comment about the removing the blowing. What if we get a developer who says that they don't like the train and the train noise? I mean.
The situation, first of all, we do have 2 Del Dot studies that have been requested to put signage up. So we've got that in the works. And I think what a lot of people are doing is they're coming here from another state who have paid services.
Yes,
Or they're
yes.
coming here from the
It's
city.
totally different.
Don't hear that.
Correct.
And all of a sudden it's like, wow,
Yes.
what is that? What, we've got to stop that. So it's like kind of like the people that build a house near the air base in Dover and they go, well, what are these planes flying?
I've seen that online.
I agree with you because
They think we're being invaded. Yeah.
yes, I agree with you because I will say almost not on a daily basis, but on a weekly basis, the family that lives around the corner from there moved from Pennsylvania and I tried to explain the difference. And you're correct. When you have something different from where once you moved, you have to understand where you're moving to and what are the reasons you're coming here. So you have a lot of volunteers and I think that's marvelous.
Yeah.
Maybe we should
But
have.
I understand. I mean, we'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
Maybe do some research on some studies around that different organizations who have changed their process there. So
Educate the
And-
realtors.
And what a difference a little bit of time takes. So when I moved here 10 years ago, one of my neighbors says, what's that siren all the time? Can't they shut that off? I said, if you want it shut off, they could probably do that, but it means there's a fire, they're not coming.
Right.
yeah.
So,
Not
but
your house.
things change.
Same developer that would develop a property downtown would be mad that we moved the fire department a mile.
It's longer to get there.
My parents lived by the prison in Georgetown and they're happy to have that siren because they know to look out for people that have jumpsuits that are running. But Matt knows, you don't have to give away where you live, Matt, but they do the test and we're happy it works.
So.
Just a different way of looking at things. That's, yeah.
We need to educate the realtors. We can have a flyer moving downtown. Yes, we have a fire siren when they're selling the property.
Well, but I do think that the difference in the volunteer fire is very different, right? Like people move here and expect the same services that they're used to. It's like, why do you make your
Yes.
taxes yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's part of the whole, and not take up time, but that's part of the whole educational process that the DVFA is working on is that you have some companies that are pretty much paid upstate.
Right.
But most of the Kent and Sussex counties are strictly volunteer and you have to educate the public about that, on how that works. So, thank you. Last thing is discuss other goals of the downtown Millsboro community or committee to include the next steps. I think we've had a lot of good, really good conversation here today. So is there anything else that we can kind of take a look at or some
Next
ideas?
budget cycle.
Yeah, I think we have.
Next budget cycle.
decent
I
list.
think like the poles that are rusty downtown, if we can get the sheath covers, like the white ones that look like they're wood,
Which polls?
It's
just sign, like sign.
Oh, the sign.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that something that if we got everything going, the downtown, whatever
Oh,
grant
yeah.
money would help with?
Good.
The grant money that, at least through the downtown organization, we're talking, hundreds of dollars a year.
Right, I know,
So.
I mean.
Donations.
We can do donations or get people to paint the pole. I mean, I don't know what Dell.dot regs are as far as painting them, but that wouldn't be a bad idea. Or a volunteer project, maybe get the Boy Scouts to paint the poles or.
Because the town doesn't pay them, anybody can pay them.
I just-
For forgiveness.
Yeah, I just think they look so nice when they're like the perfectly square poles instead of
Mhm.
the
The
metal
metal
ripple.
one hitting.
Yeah, it just looks clean.
Appearance is everything, especially when you have investors coming to look at things. So,
Well, that's why I'd like to see us, even before we get the sponsors or whatever,
Mhm.
just have a cleanup day.
I totally agree. That's why I brought that up.
And
The way you get people interested is, to quote a very interesting audience member, you fake it till you make it. Such an interesting statement, but it is true because it enhances community. It does entice
Mhm.
people to come. And a sense of pride, when you see something clean, you're not going to be throwing that cigarette butt.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That is one of my pet peeves.
Or if you have somewhere to put it.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, these are, I mean, I would love that cigarette butt thing.
Mhm.
Get the Kiwanis involved too, I'm sure.
Mhm.
And even with signage too, I think like Dell.dot has the regulations where it has to be like the metal signs or whatever. But I think for directional signage, if we could do like the wooden, nice engraved looking, if we had the new pole covers, wooden signage to show like town directional signage and keep that different from like evacuation route, speed limit, and that type of stuff, that would look clean.
Maybe in making new signs, just pictorials, because it is very obvious there are a lot of people who drive who don't necessarily understand the written words. So perhaps a pictorial. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm in the reality. I almost got killed driving here from Georgetown. But I mean, just exactly what Jamie said, the P with the
Mhm. Okay. All right, very good. I think we're up against the time frame. So if there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the Downtown Millsboro Committee.
I'll make that motion.
I will second it.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion so carried. Thank you very much. And thank you very much to the audience who came out today to support the committee and for all the great comments. Thank you so
Thank
very
you so
much.
much.
Appreciate it.